Hi everyone, I'm Kirstie and I'm the mother to Meggan, and I just wanted to share our story with you. Um, there's no handbook. I was 19 years old and about to have a baby, and this was not the plan I had made for myself. My daughter was delivered prematurely. My body was really struggling to keep Meggan going, and in the end result, the doctors had to deliver Meggan prematurely. I stared at this tiny, furry thing, looking at her through the incubator, and I thought she was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And I knew at this moment that my life was about to change. I had to find the caring, nurturing, and the ability to help this tiny soul to find her place in the world. But at this point, I just needed her to fight. I wanted her to live. The days turned into weeks. I spent days reading children's books to Meggan, and I'm still never sure if these were for her benefit or for mine. The day finally arrived that I was going to be able to hold Meggan. I was terrified that I would break her, hurt her. I sat like a cat on a hot tin roof, waiting on the nurses taking her from the incubator. I could barely hold my excitement in. It was such a tricky job getting this tiny baby onto my lap. She was connected to so many wires. The nurses at the hospital placed a towel on my lap. This was to make a nest for Meggan so that she could lie in it. Thinking back, I thought, does this really belong to me, this little soul? It was this time had stopped, and I was finally no longer gazing at her through plastic. I was actually able to hold her, touch her, and smell her. The towel from that moment spent every day with me. It carried Meggan's scent and now lives in a memory box. I realised very early on what people were expecting of me. It seemed that they all expected me to fail, that I would not be this loving, caring, nurturing mother. One of my first examples of this was a nurse that actually was helping look after me in the hospital ward. During her evening visits, where she would bring me Daisy, the milking machine, she sat with me while I was expressing, ensuring that once Meggan could feed, that I'd have milk in production for her. She was very kind and gentle, but she made me aware of the challenges that Meggan would face if she survived, the level of care that a child with Meggan's disabilities would face, and she presented me with options, opinions she thought would be best served for Meggan and me. These options were put her up for adoption. To this day, I don't know if this was just her opinion or that of others, but what it did do was show me that I was expected to fail this little girl, and I wasn't going to let that happen. Meggan was a blessing, and she was amazing, and we were lucky to have paediatricians both locally in Stirling and in Glasgow that made me feel really competent, and they were going to help her and I navigate life. Life was challenging and very scary at times, but having them constant there to reassure that the life-changing stages for Meggan, they would help keep the balance between fear and hope, and make sure that I was not failing Meggan. It was very hard proving to the world that this baby could not want for a better mother. It took me many years to fully understand these feelings. I love Meggan with all my heart, but no one prepares you for that normal, doesn't tick the box baby. School brings a whole new set of challenges. It was during these years that I began to realise that Meggan was struggling to form relationships with peers. There was too much chat, there was too much running about, and it was all just too much for her. Lessons were mentally an overload. There was too much chat and information. Meggan at best would remember the start and end of any lesson. Seeing regular faces at the hospital helped. The doctors understood Meggan and took time to deliver her questions to her and wait for Meggan to answer on her terms and her time. It was something that they learned over time, knowing Meggan. Meggan became older. I just wanted to run away. These were my thoughts as Meggan started the journey into adult care. They didn't get her. They were expecting so much from her. They were firing questions at warp speed. They knew doctors were causing her fear and self-loathing. She didn't understand how they were delivering the questions. They were not giving her time to process questions and then give answers. It was hard. It was so difficult, and we were losing her. Meggan doesn't speak to people now. not out with the family unit. She's become mute. She's decided that it's all too much. People expect more, and she can't find that middle ground to meet them. I need help. How do I help Meggan? How do I bring her back into the world? She's going to be leaving school in a few years, and we have no idea what the future will hold. I search for something, anything that will help her connect. She feels so alone and exhausted, just trying to be accepted. The doctors are changing every visit. They don't seem to share information. There's so many different consultants, registrars and junior doctors. There is nothing constant anymore. When all else fails, they seek help from a charity. They help us to take Meggan on a camp where she will spend time with others that are similar. We hide a bag in the car and take Meggan on this adventure. And the biggest thing that Meggan took out of it when she came home is that there was other boys and girls like her. They wore nappies to bed. They needed help. This was an eye-opener for Meggan, and she felt so included and so part of something bigger, that she was not alone. It broke my heart to realise that Meggan had been carrying these thoughts and this burden for so long. Sport now became a catalyst for Meggan to grow, to understand the world better and have something in common with other people. I hope this story helps you to grow as a person and look after young families and children with spina bifida and hydrocephalus.